All right, so four main credit bureaus. There's TransUnion, there's Equifax, there's Experian, and there's Innovus. Now, most people are familiar with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, but there is another one out there, Innovus. But here's the thing that I want you to know about the credit bureaus, okay? Number one, they are not on your side. No matter how educational friendly their site look and the resources that they make available on their site, there's an ulterior motive behind it, and it's called profit. And also it's called data, which is your information. So anytime you're doodling around on their sites, they're either trying to gather information from you, because that's what they sell. That's their product. You are their product. Your information is these bureaus' product. They don't have a product besides your information and my information and millions upon millions of people around the globe's information. Okay. Number two, they break the law. And that is a fact, ladies and gentlemen. They break the law all the time. Okay. And when I say break the law, you're going to understand what I mean, because they have the FTC, which regulates them. And they also have other agencies that regulate them, which we're going to get into. And I don't want to disclose one of them right now because it's my favorite one. But I'm just saying, don't think that these people are on your side. And I'm not here to even speak on a conspiracy theory type level, because I actually, I stand in a bias, a non-biased position, right? But my main focus is that, listen, I don't want you to think that they're on your side. Am I against them? No, I'm not against the credit bureaus. I'm not against anyone. I'm not against any administrations or anything. I am for you. I am for myself and my family, and I'm for the company. And that's it. And so we have to leverage the laws and place them on our side so that we can win. So number three, they can be beaten in a legal and ethical manner. And that is not, and when I say that, I'm not talking of, this is not about anything illegal. We don't believe in doing anything illegal. Matter of fact, we'll get stripped of our license. So that it's not about doing anything illegal. I know there's some things out there where people tell you to, like I've seen it all almost, ladies and gentlemen. It has folks that tell you to, create another social security number and all of that. This is not that. That's some stuff that if we catch you doing, we're going to automatically shut you down, and you will not be able to participate in our opportunity, because we don't want any involvement in that. But yes, there is a way to legally and ethically beat the credit bureaus at their own game if you have the knowledge. So that's what we're getting into right now. So unknown facts about the credit bureaus. Number one, they are for-profit companies. Okay. Because there's a lot of misconception out there, and some people think that they are nonprofit agencies. Number two, they're not government agencies. And the key is not, okay. They're not government agencies. And some people think that they are a government agency, which could be farther from the truth. Okay. Number three, you need to know that what's up with my slides. First of all, my slides are messed up here. Okay. So they are not, let me see if I can fix this. I'll fix it live while we're here. Okay. So that you can see that the correct way as well on your side. All righty. I think that will kind of do it. And stretch this out a little bit. But yeah, so Number one, they're for-profit companies. Number two, they're not a government agency. Okay. Number three, they're not on the consumer side, and you're going to see that as we go along. Number four, the customers. See, the credit bureau customers are the banks and financial institutions. So, not bashing them, their number one priority is to their customers. Just like if some people I know that's on this particular train and you own a business, your number one priority is to your customers. So they're just doing their business. Okay. I don't know what number five, they get their information from third party companies. Okay. And those companies are called data furnishers and data providers. And number six, the credit bureau benefit heavily when your credit or your client's credit is not up to par. Okay, so those are some of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about, so that as we go into this, you won't have the misconception, because some of the students ask, are the credit bureaus a part of the government? Well, that was just a market employee that they use. So they use the word credit reporting. They put agency on the end of that as a market employee to make people think, that they are somewhat affiliated with the government. And then also bureau, you think about the federal bureaus of investigation. So when you start thinking about bureaus, it sound government type, but folks, these are regular for-profit company. No different than the insurance agency right up the road, or any other corporation that's doing business for profit in America. So they have laws, and they're heavily regulated. So they have laws that they have to abide by in order to stay in business. So how do they play? What tactics do they use when they're not playing fair? Well, number one, smear campaigns. They have billions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen, so they can control press release and so on and so forth. So they make the average person feel like, cleaning up your credit is complicated, and it's not. I mean, it's so simple. All it is sending out a letter. I mean, that's it. They make you feel like it's not effective. Okay, so they purposely, and you would be surprised of the websites when you Google and some of these blogs a lot of times are operated by the credit bureaus themselves, or some of their subsidiaries. So effectively, they're putting these things out there to make you feel like it's so complicated and it's a big task, make you feel like, it's not effective. So why even try? Make you feel like it's a lengthy process when it's really not. Okay. So, it's really simple. It's like 1, 2, 3. Basically, you analyze the report. Number two, you send off a letter. The item is removed and you're finished. If it's number three, if it's not removed, you send the second letter off. And so that's basically it. If you can read and write and you know which letter to send, which we're going to show you, then that's it. It's nothing more than that. It's really that simple. Okay, so why would they do that? Okay, why would they mislead the public on purpose? Well, it's simple. Okay, why would they mislead the public? Well, first of all, Equifax and Experian are publicly traded companies. So they have a fiduciary responsibility. And basically what that, I'm going to read this in a second, but what that means is they have to look out for their shareholders. Bottom line, that's it. Okay, so I'm going to read this from Corporate Law in 5 minutes. As in all publicly traded companies, board and top executives have a fiduciary duty to shareholders to maximize both profits and investor returns. That means that they're legally obligated to look out for the best interest of the company. And what does that mean? They're legally obligated to make the most money they can by any means necessary without breaking the law. And that's basically what it is in a nutshell. But what you'll find is they break the law, but they make so much money, they don't go to jail. What happens is they get fined. So, they make $1 billion, they may get fined and have to pay out $23 million. Or you see some of these settlements they have to pay out. But at the end of the day, they count that as some of their expenses. The fines are some of their expenses. They count that included on the bottom line. So it's just the world we live in, and I'm not making a big to do about it. Some people, when some of the students say, "Well, you sound like you hate the credit bureaus." No, I love them. I love the entire system. I love it exactly the way it is because I know it, I understand it, I profit from it. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I have friends from all over the world, and there's no other country like the USA. No matter what we go through, no matter what you see in the news, you're living in the best country out there. And that's just my opinion. So don't stone me for that. If you disagree and you just came for training, hey, I'm the one doing the training right now. So just sit back and listen. Now I'm just picking. But what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being very sincere with you, is that I love the fact that you can leverage something called credit, and you can get access to hundreds of thousands of dollars and, build or buy assets with it and make revenue so that you can take care of your family the best way, in the best manner possible. It's just a beautiful thing to be in this country. I mean, a poor man, if he had the right credit, can borrow 6 figures and open a business and don't have to be poor anymore. And so I'm just saying that that they have a fiduciary responsibility. They have to make as much profits as they make. And do they take advantage of it? Yes, they do. But I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to show you the way in which you can leverage the law on your side and put the law on your side. Okay. All right. So another reason why they mislead the public. Now, this is TransUnion little secret. Anybody heard of Goldman Sachs? Okay. I'm sure you have. If you haven't, then just Google them. I got a little excerpt from Wikipedia here, and it's just basically Goldman Sachs is an American multinational investment bank and financial service company headquartered in New York City. Revenues $42.25 billion in 2017, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. So also, this is another thing you need to look at. Goldman Sachs is the 5th largest bank in the U.S. by assets, which is something I doubt you ever knew. Okay, because you don't just see them in the neighborhood or corner or as you're driving by. You don't see these guys, but they're the 5th largest in terms of assets. Okay, they're multinational. But here's the thing. Did you know that they owned TransUnion? Okay, they purchased TransUnion in 2012. Okay, now TransUnion has since went public, but in 2012 they purchased TransUnion, and they took, private. They took TransUnion public 3 years later. Okay, and so why did they do that? Well, they did it for a number of reasons, but check out the big picture here. I'm just showing you have to follow the money. Why would the bank want to buy the credit union? The credit bureau, the one that, dictates whether or not you're able to get financing or not. Why would they do that? Okay, so it just makes sense. Now look at the big picture. Now Goldman bought, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Okay. And this was actually, this article was published April 19th, 2017. Okay. Goldman bought TransUnion, which was the smallest of the 3 credit bureau firms, in 2012. By the time it went public 3 years later, TransUnion had become a data mining machine. Now, if you Remember in the first day of training, what is it about? It's all about the data, right? Okay, gathering billions of seemingly insignificant tidbits about ordinary Americans that it analyzed and sold it to where? To lenders, to insurers, and others, whoever others may happen to be. Okay, so here's the thing. The credit bureau is taking your information, they're selling it. You have a right, and I hark on this because we do have students that say, well, is it right to try to repair your credit? You're darn right it is, because it gives you access to money. Okay, and then it allows you to grow your business, and then it allows you to help your clients when they were declined for God knows whatever reason. Okay. All right. Another thing, this is something you can do for homework tonight, because I'm going to ask a question at the end of the days 3 training, and it relates to the bonus. And I want you to be able to go in and answer this. So you're just going to Google 60 minutes. This is the Federal Trade Commission report, and it's talking about the 40 million mistakes, okay, that the credit bureau, well, that's on Americans' credit reports. Okay. And this, I'm gonna be honest with you. We know that just about every report contains some inaccuracy. Okay. But I just want you to Google that so that you can kind of see for yourself that these mistakes are on there, and that it's really your duty to make sure that your credit is pristine, utilizing the law. Okay. So where do they get their data? All right. So they get their data from data furnishers like financing companies, leasing companies, any persons or corporations that grant credit or whatever. They have the option. They don't have to. It's nothing, no legal legislation making a company report certain things to the credit reporting agencies, but they do that to keep a check and balance system. And I'm glad they do, because you do have rogue people out there, who, if the banks are constantly taking a loss, we are all affected by that. So I'm not for that. I'm not for that either. Okay. Now, number 2, they get their information from the public records. Okay. So these are these are the avenues in which the credit bureau right here get their information. Okay. So that's where they're getting their information from you. And another way they gather information from you is when you go on their websites, or you go on some of their subsidiary websites, and you're entering your information into their system. Then when you check yes for some of the free services or whatever, what have you, or any information that you're placing on their site, they're actually retaining that information on you. Okay, so let's talk about the system and how it's flawed and how we are actually able to overcome it. Okay, so remember I was telling you it's all about a profit. Okay, so when you're sending a dispute, when you find an inaccuracy on your credit report, and you send a dispute to the credit bureau, they have a company by the name of eOscar, and it's basically, look at it like it's basically a huge filing cabinet in the sky. That's the best way that I can help you to think of it, because they're dealing with millions upon millions of data. So when you send your letters in for yourself or your client, this is the route that it takes. So it goes to the credit bureau. The credit bureau sends it to eOscar. Now, I'm going to go in and show you a little bit about eOscar. Well, matter of fact, I'm not. Do that for your homework, because I know that we're kind of moving fast. Just take my word for it. Write it down. Don't do it right now, because you're going to get sidetracked during the training. But eOscar is basically like an online communication system. That's the best way I can explain. So it stands between the credit bureau and the data furnishers. So what happens is, remember when I was showing you how the data furnisher sent your information to the credit bureau? Well, when you get your report and you see some information on your report and you're saying, okay, well, this is not accurate, or, what have you, or it's not complete. Okay. Or please verify it, then what happens is that the credit bureau, by law, they have to validate that. So what they do is they've set up this system to make it easier for them to be able to communicate with the actual data providers. All right. So, but what happens? Let's say that this system, when it goes in, I mean, when you send the letter in, this system has a actual it's a system where it can recognize your actual letter, read the letter, and then it placed the letter in the code. And the code says whether it's frivolous information, whether whether it's a late, whatever dispute that you're disputing, it's a late pay or whatever you're disputing, it's going to take that information and communicate it to that data furnisher. And then send a code to the data furnisher. And that data furnisher is going to verify it or not verify it and send the communications back to eOscar, and eOscar sends it back to the credit bureau and back to you. Okay, but then also, when the system can't verify it, there's a manual review that take place. Now, this is the problem with the entire system. Now, think about this. You live in America. They have your data. Basically, you didn't really give them permission to get it, right? But they're making billions of dollars off your data. But guess what? When they go to verify it manually, it's not even done in the U.S. It's done in India, Indonesia, Jamaica. They have these third world cheap labor, people that really don't really understand or really basically give a hoot about whether or not it's going to make the difference between you paying an extra $50,000, $30,000 on your house, whether or not you're getting turned down for a much needed business loan simply because, you're off by 1 or 2 points. I had an individual that was off by 2 points on their credit just a week ago, and they were turned down for an SBA loan. Now, of course, we're going to rectify the situation and they'll be good next month. But the point is they are delayed, and so they're missing money. So what happens, these individuals here are getting paid pennies, okay, on the dollar, pennies to work. They're working long hours. They only have their time. They only have a few seconds. So when your information go to them, they only have a few seconds to mark it and say delete, item or whatever. They have a couple of seconds to make a decision on your future. Now, the beauty of it is, like I told you, with every blessing, there's a burden. Well, with every burden, there's a blessing. The blessing on this is that when you know what you're doing, when you're sending the right letters and you get it notarized, and you're sending it the correct way, which is through the U.S. Postal Service certified mail, where you can track it. The beauty of it is they are getting bombarded with so much information to a lot of times information that could possibly be accurate, right? And it's an accurate negative. And I'm not telling you to do this, by the way. I'm just sharing with you techniques that work. And so what I'm saying is that we leave the burden of proof on the credit bureaus. We leave the burden of proof on them. It's not about, in other words, this is not about, trying to dispute whether or not, an item is negative or not. That's not what it's about. It's about, do they have the right by law for it to be on your credit report? That's the question that we ask. And so the main purpose of this is we make the credit bureaus do their job.
Credit Secret Exposed. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. You want to learn how to get rid of charge-offs, how to get rid of late pays, how to get rid of bankruptcy, student loans, medical bills, collections, repossessions, all of the above, right? Well, you are at the right place. And let me just share this with you while I have you. Number one, why am I exposing these secrets? Well, number one, I'm in the business finance sector, so I believe in giving as much value away and teaching people, listen, this is how you have to level up your credit in order to get approved. So I decided to make this playlist to give you guys access to the first portions of the course, and then below you can get access to the course for $1. That's right. So you can click below and get access to the course. But listen, how is this going to work? Let me show you. If you look here, you'll see that this is a full, complete course. I mean, it goes from business finance tips to getting a copy of your business credit report. This is the actual course that you're getting videos for on this playlist, right? And so I just wanted to show you this. And then I also want to show you another slide. All of these courses, all of these are inside of the course. And I mean, the list just goes on how to calculate scores, the never do's, what you're not supposed to do. I mean, it talks about credit freeze, all kinds of Nexus, Lexus, any and everything that you want to do to remove late payments and things like that. But let's go ahead and jump in the video. If you like the video, click a like button, hit the subscribe button, mash that notification bell so you will know, get notified when we put another